I'm going to give you 3 opportunities. Now, we did not go over this specific aspect of the show in our 3:45 a.m. production meeting because I knew that Caleb would know the direction I'm going. So I didn't give him anything. You can read about it on offthehooksports.com, but the story went up after we went on the air. So he doesn't know. All right, Caleb, I'm going to give you 3 opportunities to name Tennessee's biggest problem heading into the Florida game, and then I'm going to discuss how they will solve it. All right, Caleb, opportunity number 1.
It's their pass protection.
Okay, pass protection. What say you, committee? The committee says
that's crazy.
Okay, next one, Caleb.
You know, you're so savage. Like, you can disagree without saying my take's crazy. Okay. But
okay.
I'm
all right.
with you.
No, that's fine. Okay, go ahead. Give me the next one. I'm going to tell you why it's crazy. What's the next one?
Nico Imaliava not throwing the ball downfield enough.
That's crazy.
Okay. You got one more opportunity because I'm big picturing this thing. The biggest problem is
receivers not getting separation.
That's crazy.
Okay. All of those fall under my argument that it's lack of splash plays. It's lack of explosive plays against a quality opponent. How many explosive plays has Tennessee had outside of Chattanooga and Kent State? When the game was really in question, you had the Will Brooks interception for 80-some yards that we all said, oh, man, NC State's done. If you remember, it was 10-3, and NC State was driving at that point. That splash play, explosive play, took away everything that the Wolfpack had hoped for. You had one decently long run by Dylan Sampson against Arkansas last week, and you had the long pass to Dante Thornton as well. But that was kind of a chuck, and the run by Sampson was not a touchdown. So, Caleb, I think it's the lack of explosive plays, and they occurred in a couple of different fashions. One, what you're talking about, the receivers aren't getting as open, although I've been told different things. I've been told by some they were open downfield, others they weren't. I think there's a difference of opinion there. Now, the other thing is Tennessee's defense is not allowed to play vertical. Why? Because they don't have the lead. So it is a complete lack of explosive plays. And what made this offense and entire team so exciting? And I don't know if Tennessee is playing hesitant at times, i.e. Nico, or if perhaps the simplification of the defense has Tennessee losing some battles one-on-one as they're not twisting and stunning as often on the defensive front. But that's the problem. It's seemingly obvious, but when you make a play like that, it completely flips momentum. And those used to be a dime a dozen, Caleb, especially in 2022, but even last year. So how do you fix that, Caleb? Now we'll get to your more detailed reasons that aren't crazy. They just weren't what I was going for.
Okay. I have a way to fix it, but I don't know if they're capable. Arkansas was the third time dating back to last November that we heard a coach threw a completely new defensive look against Tennessee that they hadn't seen from them on film. Oklahoma did it, according to all sources. And you talk about how Missouri did it, and Tennessee just got draxed by Missouri because of it last year. Coaches are talking. I have a theory, Dave, that coaches have, and this actually used to be a thing with John Chavis back in the day. this started to be a thing in the mid 2000s where coaches realized if you throw a different look at John Chavis from what he's prepared for, he is a deer in headlights and he won't know how to stop it in the game because he can't make in-game adjustments. That is starting to be a thought process with how it relates to Josh Heupel, that he just can't adjust to new defensive looks in games. And I'm starting to wonder, Dave, if the problem is just that lack of in-game adjustments, because I think the book on Josh Heupel on the offense, and I wonder if this is throw a totally different look at him that he hasn't been used to seeing all week.
Okay. I want to throw two things at, and Derek made a great comment. There's no passing or there's no crossing routes, no digs, no slants, that sort of thing. So how much of that is Alex Golesh not being a part, which I said that's not a factor last year. This is Josh Heupel's offense. And part two, Caleb, is how much of this, if other coaches are talking, and have you seen the Connor Stallions documentary yet?
No, I still haven't seen it.
Okay, when you get a chance, I mean, there's a sub-genre of football that in 25 years I didn't know about, and that's these goofballs get on the phone on Sundays and they have conference calls and they share signals. I never knew that happened. I mean, to me, it was always you against the world on a team, right? But that happens. Okay, so I'm going to make this argument that Josh Heupel running up the score against Missouri in 2022, that Josh Heupel kicking extra points when you're up kicking onside kicks when you're up 35-0 does not help those that might be willing to share information. Your thoughts on those two topics is maybe some of this is Josh Heupel's fault, brought to you by Medicare Misty.
19 years this year. I've been in the community since 1993. You're getting a lot of information. Unlike when you were working, they made the choice for you. Now you have to make the choice. Come to us and let us help you make it easy. Call Medicare Misty, MedicareMisty.com or 423-777-5577. Let us help them sleep at night.
And we call her Medicare Misty.
All right, so more Golesh or Josh Heupel's dug his own grave by rubbing people's noses in it?
I think between the two would be Josh Heupel. More Golesh. And I can't believe I'm saying that either, but we have too much of a sample size now. And it's twofold. You know, one of the things that leads me to say that, Dave, is that we talked about this last year when Joey Halzle was hired. It was a red flag that for so long he had been an assistant. It took Josh Heupel forever to move him to an on-field assistant coach. So long, in fact, that Joey Halzle actually left coaching for a minute and went to the private sector for a little while and then came back. It almost feels like Josh Heupel, because Halzle had been with him for so loyalty, decided to promote him to offensive coordinator in 2021, but didn't really think he could do the job. Because otherwise, why didn't you do it beforehand? He's been with you for 15 years and you never promoted him to a coordinator position before that. That leads me to believe, Dave, that Josh Heupel doesn't think Joey Halzle's that good at this job, but just gave him the job anyway because he thought the offense and the talent was fine, and he felt he could just throw him a bone. It's the same thing you say with Brent Venables when you talk about it's always a red flag when someone's an assistant for that long and never gets a head coaching job. People talk, somebody knows something. That red flag was there with me with Joey Halzle, and for a while I thought, it doesn't matter. It's Josh Heupel's offense. Maybe it's not. Alex Golesh is doing very well at USF. Jeff Lebby is in his first year as a head coach at Mississippi State. Both of those coaches were huge factors to helping Josh Heupel when he was at UCF and Tennessee. And not that Josh Heupel's offense isn't valuable, not that Josh Heupel isn't smart, but maybe it was. And I'm starting to think this, Dave. What if this is the case? Maybe the offensive coordinator was the guy he needed to help him with the in-game adjustments when a defense throws a new look. And Joey Halzle's not able to do that.
Fair. I think that with Golesh, we've learned that fresh ideas are not nearly as much a part of the chemistry that's going on right now, right? I mean, the Princeton Fant in around on the goal line, all that they did with Princeton Fant. I mean, in retrospect, that looks like it has the fingerprints of Golesh all over it. And what I was told more specifically, according to a source that I know, is it was more about game planning. So Josh Heupel likes to put these plays together early on, Caleb, and be it a script or a loose outline of what he wants to do. What's he done previous to 2023 and sometimes in that season as well, and at times this year? He's gone out and gotten a huge lead. And that changes the way completely everything is played. And without that, Tennessee is a way different football team. I mean, there's just another team with a pretty good offense, which is not where you want to be.
No, not at all. And, it's funny you bring that up because it's a part of the Tennessee design is to get a big lead and then unleash the pass rush of James Pierce. That didn't weird, but part of that is the offense being able to maintain what they're doing. I mean, let's be honest, Dave. I want to give you guys something full disclosure. You guys can blame me for Tennessee's loss to Arkansas last Saturday. When Dylan Sampson scored that second touchdown and Tennessee went up 14-3, I was sure Tennessee was winning, weren't you? I was already writing my columns. I'm like, there's no way Arkansas is coming back from this.
Yes.
I actually had a column. I'll just tell you guys this. I had one laughing at Sam Pittman saying I'd rather be us than them right now at his halftime interview. Because I'm like, why would you say that when you're up 3-0 and you've massively outplayed the other team and you should be up 17-0?
I was going to play off that as well. I was also going to play off how it feels like 98 more than ever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That column will never see the light of day.
Guys, if you cover sports, you don't realize how many great columns people like Dave, me, and John Adams write that never see the light of day because the actual game itself changes. That's the saddest part about being a sports reporter.
Well, that's true, but there's some clunkers in there too.